Alright, so I know I'm like really super late to the party, but I want to take some time to think about this. The thing was, when it comes to Stan Lee, I feel like I could make an hour-long video about just how much he meant to me as a fan and as a reader. But I wanted to think about what he meant to me as a writer, something that I felt like I could get across maybe a little bit easier, and something that he said a good while ago has stuck with me. Back in 2007, when Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer was coming out, I was probably about 14 or 15 at the time. I saw an interview with Stan talking about the Silver Surfer and how he created the character, and he mentioned something along the lines of that the character meant something very special to him that he didn't have a connection with other than maybe the closest one was Spider-Man, and how he couldn't read the character if it was written by somebody else, and it was nothing against the writers. He went on to explain that the Silver Surfer was sort of an outlet for him in a lot of ways. When he would write the Silver Surfer, problems he was having either in his life or thoughts he was having about the human condition or problems going on in the world would often appear in some shape or form in the Silver Surfer's thought bubble or his stories, and Stan would give it a sort of cosmic twist, but would sort of use the Silver Surfer as his own soapbox. And at the time, I was like, and it didn't occur to me at the time that when I was reading a character on the page or on a movie that there was somebody that made them up, but it never really occurred to me that, oh, somebody can put their feelings or their soul or just their ideas into a character, and that character reflects all those things. And that really stuck with me, even at the time when I had no clue that, almost 13 years later, that I'd be an author and a writer myself. And it's something that has stuck with me. It's something that I think about quite often, almost every time I sit down to write. For example, I think the best example for me is my character in Night of the Half Angel. Angela covers up her birthmarks that are shaped like wings that are on her arms. She uses these arm warmers because she's uncomfortable with her identity. She doesn't know anything about her parents or her heritage really, other than a lot of the angels are dicks. So she's really uncomfortable about this part, but she is sort of forced to face it in a lot of ways in the series I'm working on. And I think it would have taken me a lot longer to figure this sort of stuff out if it hadn't been for Stan saying this all those years ago. It goes to show how good of a writer he really was, because he really put a lot into these characters. And I think the most powerful thing is that now we're almost 20 movies into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and there's all sorts of other movies that are unrelated to that are also Marvel properties. And it's so amazing to me that people like him and other writers that have written for Marvel over the past 60 or so years are going to essentially live on in another medium. Their characters and what they brought to them will live on in some sort of capacity in film form, and also even more so in comic book form, which still is going on today. And in that sense, Stan and the other creators that have contributed to Marvel will live on forever through other people's imaginations and through other people who enjoy watching and reading this content. So to say that Stan Lee was influential on me is no small thing to say. He's influential on a lot of writers, not just comic book writers, but screenwriters, book writers, and all sorts of other writers. It's insane how much reach this guy has had. And seriously, I think his work at Marvel and how he has influenced others will end up being his biggest legacy.